Serious information.
Like Carrie Fisher, I'd love to get her there on.
Yeah.
I'd get her on like she's coming on the podcast.
Carrie Fisher.
We have left off.
What number is it again? 17.
Episode
17.
Cheers for us.
We'll get straight in. Our guest
Cheers.
this week, Rebecca Stewart. How do you like to be addressed? Is it
Rebecca, I've kind of evolved through the names and I stick with Rebecca now.
Yeah, because
Becky's fine as
It's
well.
Becky. I don't know. Did you used to be Beck Yoga? Is that right?
Yeah.
I think that's
Yeah.
how. I think Harry referred to you as Beck, one of my mates who brought me to Liverpool Yoga Studios. So it's just Beck.
Yeah, Beck's fine.
It's one of them.
Is
names.
Becky your yoga name and Rebecca's
I was
like...
like Becky was like me, like, you know, that person that you want to forget.
Yeah.
And then
An old me.
and then there was Beck, who was like, yeah, like me yoga me, and then there's like Rebecca. I've kind of merged more into like feminine stuff and others. I feel like it's just me. It's my name. Do you know what I mean? Took off the mask.
So you went full circle back to Rebecca.
Yeah.
It's like my sister. She's not actually called Tilly, but that's like her nickname. But we told her as a kid she's called Tilly. She was called Victoria. No, sorry. She's called
the wind up from day one. Your name is not your name.
Doesn't know what to believe. Conditioned to the max. Your name's not even Tilly. No, it's not like your name's not Tilly. No. So she knew. We always knew. Like, what's your name? Oh, Tilly. I'm like, no, it's actually Victoria, but it's just a nickname that my nan gave her. And then she was in school. And they said her name, like Victoria on the register. She's like, my name's Tilly. And the teachers thought that, like, oh, they're winding her up. But it's just a nickname. You know, like, you can have a preferred name.
Yeah.
But I think she's going to eventually come back to
So hang on,
Come back
like,
to
when did
Victoria.
she find out her name was actually not Tilly?
We always told her as kids.
Was it like...
Yeah. But funny story,
Like-
our Ted isn't called Ted.
Yeah,
But it's his middle name. So he's, I know, this is what everyone's finding out. All the conspiracies are coming out. But my little brother's Stephen Ted.
Yeah.
And so we just get called Ted. And that's quite normal, isn't it, your middle
Yeah,
name?
yeah,
But
yeah.
Will, our mate, he always calls him Stephen. He's like, you alright, Stephen? He's like, Ted.
That's the thing with like an older generation. Like a lot of people used to take the middle names, didn't they?
Yeah.
My nan's done it. My nan hates the name Elsie, and she hates the name Elsie. So in the middle name's Marion, so everyone calls her Marion or Mary.
Mad, isn't it?
My middle name's Margaret.
Is it?
I don't want to get
That was
called
my
that.
nan's name,
It
that.
might evolve to that.
Yeah, what's next?
Margaret.
So when did you become Rebecca again then?
Well, I've rebranded like my work and that. It was about a year ago. I made like a new website and stuff and changed all my Instagram and that just to Rebecca Stewart instead of like boxing it or anything. I just thought I'd just have my name. And then if I go off in different avenues, it's alright. It's just me instead of like Rebecca Yoga or Rebecca this or Rebecca that.
Not limiting yourself, are you?
No, yeah.
It blew his mind when we were discussing, and he was like, "So is she a yoga teacher?" I was like, "Yeah, but she does this, she does feminine healing, conscious menstruation." He was like, "Wow, I've got a lot of questions." Good job of doing a podcast, isn't it? Yeah, it's quite because it's unusual, isn't it?
Yeah, it's definitely it's like that's
Unique.
like it's unique. Like obviously, like it's. And it's so like niche as well. It's so beneficial for people at the same time. One thing that caught me out was womb yoga.
Yeah.
So womb.
So we out of the question for that? Is that a stupid question?
Well, no, not really, because energetically speaking, like, you know, you've probably heard of like the chakras, haven't you?
Yeah.
So like you've got men and women both have an energetical womb space. So you could do it, but obviously the purpose of womb yoga basically. So like when yoga was created, obviously the main people of yoga in India were men. So it was created as a system for like not just the male body, but like energetically practiced in a very masculine way. So when we consider like masculine and feminine energies, masculine's a bit more like linear and still and focused, whereas the feminine energy is a bit more free and fluid. So obviously now in the West, it's mostly women that practice yoga. So you've got like this phenomenon of women practicing yoga under this male practice.
Yeah.
So it started to cause problems for women. Like if you overexert yourself as a woman, for example, over exercise, you can lose your period because you've got too much like stress hormones in your body and things like that, and multiple other things. Or certain practices you can't do when you're pregnant, or you can't do if you've just lost the baby, or you can't do if you've just terminated the pregnancy. Like there's so many different things that women are always going through that need to be considered within not just the yoga practice, but obviously I teach yoga, but in all practices, because even, and I'm sure you're aware, that at any given week of the month, women go through a series of different hormones and different energy levels, and it's all very real. And the
doesn't
womb
stop
yoga,
either,
it doesn't stop.
Yeah.
So what the womb yoga asks you to do is like to look at where you're at and adapt your practice from there, rather than this is your practice and this is what you're doing every day.
And like it could be out of sync type thing.
Yeah.
So how did that come about then? Was that from like a personal
From
level?
my own personal thing, yeah.
Okay,
I think
yeah.
when I went through like a big this is interesting talking to you about this, isn't it? When I went through like a big process, so I was dead, like when I first got into yoga, I was like dead strict, and I was like, I practiced 6 days a week, 90 minutes to 2 hours a day, sometimes more, sometimes I practice again in the evening. And then as I went through like all of these processes of healing, like I used to have like really bad acne, I used to be like quite depressed, like just loads of things. I had like body dysmorphia, I went through all this stuff, and I reached this point about 2 years ago where I was like, all right, everything's fixed, or at least in an ongoing process of being fixed, but my periods were really bad. Either I wasn't having them, or they were super painful, or sometimes I wouldn't have them for like 3 months at a time. And then I just started digging a little bit deeper into it, and discovered this whole new world of like feminine healing and womb yoga, and it was about 3 years now probably ago, and yeah, it just changed everything, changed my perspective on everything. So yeah, now I just chill.
And that's a wrap.
It's getting a bit late for me actually.
No, just chill, full stop. Boss. So like, is the kind of, so let's talk Liverpool first of all. Is there obviously there's a big kind of like spiritual like space in Liverpool. There's a big kind of self-development space. Is there a big womb yoga, or is that fairly new, or is it?
I wouldn't say it was new, because I wouldn't like anybody to listen to it and be like, she here, I've been doing this for like 10 years.
Yeah.
But it's definitely, I mean, since I've been doing it, I've had the crowd who've wanted to receive it, because I think even with what you said, when I was coming into it, I was thinking, this is very niche, Bech, what you're trying to do. Are people going to understand it? But at the end of the day, all women have wombs, or have had a womb, and have had some kind of problem. Like the statistics on women who struggle with like problems with their womb and period pains and PCOS and endometriosis and all of the other things that are just so misunderstood and so not held. And it's just like everything else that we have in this society, it's just like, here's a pill, and it is the pill is usually just the solution that is given to women, and no further digging into it is done. And it's just on so many levels of the basic stuff of what we know of, like diet and exercise and all of them things that you need, but also it's a very energetical space as well, so there's so much healing to be done from that space.
It's
you know,
constant, like it's a constant healing
it's
thing,
a constant, and I think so many women resonate with it so much, because I think every woman suffers with it, to be honest.
The last guest we had on it was a lad called Connor, and he's got cystic fibrosis, and he's like he talked about how like
I know Connor, I think.
Yeah, Connor Smith. He's like he was talking about how sort of like he stopped having like pharmaceutical stuff, but he said his diet and everything changed. His diet changed the way he was living. He got a more like a positive impact with it. Do you know what I mean? And like the thing is, like when you got the period problems, like issues like that, the automatic thing is to have a pill, have this. Whereas it's nice to do in practices like this on a larger scale, which you're having a more of a better effect for you really than just having a pill, isn't it? Do you know what I mean?
Straight away, so many young girls, like when you first start your period, for example, it's known that it's going to be irregular, it just is. But like girls can go and say it's super painful, blah blah blah. Some girls get put on the pill from when they're like 11, 12. You know, they're not having sex with anyone. There's no necessity to have that. They're starting to mess with their hormones before their hormones have even had the chance to become regular. And then 10 years down the line, they realise all of the effects that it's having. And I don't want to put anybody. Sometimes it's beneficial to have the pill. Obviously, you don't want to have a baby. But there's even other ways around that, you know what I mean? And it's just like everything in the way that we've been taught. There's other solutions and there's other more natural solutions. And if we were taught them from a very young age, both male and female, people would just have it integrated into their life, and it wouldn't be like this, like, oh my God, I don't know what I'm doing to, look after myself.
I remember once someone... No, go ahead.
No, sorry, lads.
No, Jay, I insist.
No, it's all right.
I don't know. I can't remember who it was who said it to me, or whether I made it up myself, I don't know. But I
reckon it's probably the latter. Like.
No, I know. Wait till you hear it first. So I think I didn't make it up, but I think I come to the conclusion of, I don't even want to put my name to it now. Someone calls me out. Just be people under this calling us, she never meant that. He never said that. You just be getting picked apart.
Give credit where credit's due.
So let's just say I saw someone say, I think it was a comedian actually, it was, men are in charge in our society, like in politics and medicine and all sorts, because it's women who have to take a contraceptive pill, because if it's that bad and it's that painful for women and that like there's that many negative side effects, men know, no, we don't have to take that. Why would we not take that? So that's why there's never been one as even.
They
Well, they had like
started
trials.
creating one, and
Yeah,
there was
they did.
trials, and they stopped it because it was
Because of the negative effect.
Yeah,
Just goes to show, doesn't it?
Yeah, and I think that there's a lot to be said for it. You know, that I think. Yeah, there's so much. You know, women think that they're bipolar and it's just their hormones and they just need to get like in sync. And yeah, there's loads of stuff, loads and loads of stuff. Yeah, it is crazy.
It is nuts. Like it's one of them things we just never have to think about, is it? Like,
I know it's like,
I don't know. I do think women rule the world, and
Yeah.
I have a theory. We'll definitely edit this out, but I have a theory that women, or ancient civilizations, or maybe today's civilization, knew how powerful women were and thought we need to suppress them.
That's
you know what I mean?
1,000,000%.
Do you think? Yeah. And like we'll just pit them against each other, and
Yeah,
because
yeah.
women, imagine women running the world, it'd be sad. Chilling.
everyone be chilling.
All
Yeah,
of
you
us
think?
chill.
Do you agree though?
Yeah, 1,000,000%. I think that's exactly what it's a real big question in my mind all of the time, from a race perspective, from a gender perspective of why this oppression of power, why why has this happened, why is this disproportionate, and that's the only solution I can think, that at some point somebody identified the power, and then because it happens all the time, doesn't it? You see it in like narcissistic and empathic relationships where, you know, that person, you look at them, you know, you've got your mate and you think you're well too good for them, but they feel like they're not, and it's because that person has took their power away and they've seen what they've got, and yet they just put them down, and I think that's really happened in society.
For human beings, definitely.
For
Like,
human beings,
and
yeah.
most.
For all people, I mean, everybody's suppressed. I believe everyone's
no,
disempowered.
definitely.
You know.
Most people, most species, though, this is the first time I thought about it. Like most species, it's like the male who has to get the female to mate. Like they have to impress the female, don't they? And I remember watching David Attenborough years ago, thinking like, why is it the male peacock who shows off, and but it's females in human society that always get dolled up. Do you know what I mean? It's like, that's crazy. Why is that, Jay? Why do you think?
Way over my pay grade. Don't get paid enough for this shit. No, it is mad. It's just, it's like if you look at birds, for like flying birds, don't need women. Do you know what I mean? Like if you look at, like, it's like, you see pigeon and like they're like the males like
puffing the chest.
they
out
puff the chest out like that.
I've seen some males do that as well.
Yeah, I've seen some males. You did.
Blow myself up on the way into them.
No, it is mad though. It's an interesting theory as to, because obviously if women give birth to kids and have to go through this pain every month, or week in, week out, they're obviously a lot stronger than men physically. Not like physically, like whether genetically, but like for the pain threshold, definitely. So like,
this is a big part of like what I teach of it is about. It's because I had this thing once. I always get messages on Instagram, you know, like, I hate the way of feminism and all that. I'm like, alright. But
so
someone's
just on that. Sorry, would you say you're a feminist?
Well, I mean, I believe, yeah, I guess so. But I think there's a few different avenues of being a feminist, and I think my stance is a little bit different, because
it's a hijacked word, isn't it?
On being a feminist, I wouldn't say my stance is like. Which is what I was going to say now, like, I can do everything you can do, and I want to be exactly as you are, because I think that we are very different species, and I know there's a lot going on in the world right now with like gender fluidity and all of that, and I don't want to cause any, you know, thingy to that, but speaking just as a male and female roles, I do think that there's a reason why we've ended up with different roles. But what when someone messaged me once and said, you know, something like, why are you going on about this? What can men still do that women can't, or something like that? Or what can I do that you can't? As if to say there is no lack of equality, which I hadn't said anyway. I think he was just bringing through a different argument. But I said, no, I do believe that there is very different roles. But what's happened in society is the roles that you have as males, that you are better as per se, are very recognised and very held up highly. The roles that women are very good at and the traits that women have are not very highly recognised, and that's where the balance needs to come back in, to notice and recognise that even in a time when like a woman needs like deep rest or during her period, like there's tribes in like the Amazon and stuff where when women have their period, like they have dreams and they get messages and they tell the tribe, you know, all of these things, and it's like this big time of like wisdom and deep spiritual connection. Whereas if I was working in a normal workplace and I said, listen, I need a couple of days off because I'm getting my period, it's seen as like a really strong weakness. Do you know what I mean? And likewise with like having a baby and being pregnant and stuff like that, it's not really seen as a strength.
No.
It's not really seen as like, oh, do you know what? You're actually bringing life to this earth.
It's like you're going to be able to the workforce for a year or so.
Yeah.
So we'll pay you less.
Yeah,
Like, it's crazy.
So it's seen as like a weakness.
Yeah.
Whereas, and I think that's where my stance on feminism is. It's like, we just need to recognise that these feminine traits in both men and women are just as powerful as the more masculine traits.
It's like, have you ever seen that episode? Have you seen Rick and Morty?
No.
Have you seen the episode where it's like the women rule the planet? They go to the planet where the women are in charge.
Oh,
And,
yeah,
like, so if there's anyone who's got a male on the planet, so Rick, have you heard of Rick and Morty?
No.
He's like, he travels through in different galaxies. You've definitely seen it, haven't you?
See Rick and Morty?
No.
I think you'll love it.
No lie.
He travels between different galaxies, but it's proper deep, isn't it?
It's
proper
like, yeah.
whoa. But it's
There's no boundary. Anything can happen, like, on anything.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
He travels through the universe, but he lives on Earth. It's crazy.
He's like known as the most cleverest man in the world, anyway. And like
in the universe.
In the
and,
universe,
like,
even
and people
like,
are trying to hunt him down because he's that clever and stuff. And anyway, on one of the episodes, on one of his escapades, he goes to this planet where like women, there's like this superwoman species, and whenever you've got a male with you, it has to be your slave or your pet. So like they see like his granddaughter, what's her name? Summer with him, and she's like, tell your slave to bow and that, all these women and that, and he has to pretend that he's her servant, and then he sees humanity in a way that's like, oh, this is how women get treated all the time. It's quite deep, isn't it?
Yeah.
You definitely have to watch it.
Yeah, I'll have to watch it.
Yeah.
There's like there's hidden messages in quite a lot of episodes, isn't there? Like, and I love about that. Some like a lot of animation now is like it's very like deep.
Yeah,
now,
like
do you know what I mean?
BoJack Horseman as
Like
well.
it's all proper deep, and there's all tackling real issues in the world as well, which is great.
Have you seen Wonder Woman? Have you seen the Wonder Woman film?
I haven't, no.
The new one,
Yeah.
I think have they done two? I think I've seen.
I don't know. It was the more new one, but when I watched that, and this was like real like hitting home for me when I was watching it, and in the beginning, obviously it's a female superhero, and then like the land that they're on is like all women, and it's just like this all female thing. And when I was watching it, I was like, wow, I've never seen anything like this before. I've never watched a film where it's just women. Powerful women, and the woman is the superhero. And that was like, I only watched it last year or something, or this year, do you know what I mean? I was like, it was at the time when all of the stuff was going on with like the Black Lives Matter, and they were talking about the way there's no the big Hollywood movies, like the Black Panther was obviously the only all black cast, and it was making me think about that more so, rather than, as a woman I haven't seen it, but it was making me think of it showed me how people will feel that you don't ever get to see your representation on the television. Do you know what I mean? It really made me realise, I thought, wow, I've never seen this before. Like with a film with just women and a powerful woman as well. I mean, she ends up falling in love with some fella and giving her power away a bit. But... so
it's got that in it, yeah. Of course it has.
In the end,
of course it has, yeah. Funny that. Yeah, that's something I think as a white male, like is it a white cisgendered male? Is that like the most like privileged? Is that what we are? Are we white cisgendered males?
Yeah.
So like, obviously we get like we're, what's the word? Suppressed. Is it oppressed? We face some sort of oppression, but like, it's only when you start to see other people's point of view, or other people, the lives other people lead, or like the shit they have to put up with. Like, I've never had to think about that. Do you know what I mean? And like, even girls, like my little sister, she talks to me all the time about her mates, or like gossip in school, like drama that's gone on, and I just think, I've never experienced nothing like that, and that's what you live with. It's crazy, isn't it?
I actually, though, I've gone through like a big thing lately, because obviously it's like this whole division thing, and I think especially spiritually there's like a big division between like masculine and feminine and blah blah blah, and I think I really like had a thing about like 3 months ago or something, or 4 months ago, and I was really like thinking about like men, and especially white men, and I thought, fuck, it's been, sorry, can I swear? I thought it's been a really
no monetization on this.
I thought it's been like a really heavy year, and I thought that must be weighing heavy on people as well, because at the end of the day it's just the structures and the systems, and it's like, it's not for you to like take blame. Everybody's got to look at how they uphold things in society, but everybody's hating. Do you know what I mean? I really went through this big thing, and I was like, who's helping the men? I went through like a really big thing with it, and it's brought me to like definitely a very different perspective.
So what would you say is not the answer, but like, what's a good enough response to making sure films are diverse enough, or making sure everyone's represented, or making sure...
I think honestly, it's like
because society's so diverse, isn't it? So where do you?
Yeah. I think it's like everything all the time in the way that we work in society. We go from like the outside in. So like for example, when the Black Lives Matter stuff happened, and everything that happened was like unbelievable. They're like, right, we're gonna get rid of that TV show. We're gonna get rid of that. We're gonna get rid of that. And it's like that's all good and well, but it's like everything. People need to be doing the inner work. People need to be sitting and looking at. Like, not just going, oh yeah, that's terrible, that shouldn't be on the television anymore, but kids need to be taught from a young age. We all need to be taught. Like, I got there's a book called Me and White Supremacy, and it explains in it, and just things I wouldn't have even thought of ever, and you're like, oh fuck, like that's so bad.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And other things where, again, like what you were just saying, I've spoke to men sometimes, and I'm like, you know, I said it to my brother about people beeping when, you know, they drive past you in the car, and I see his face and he was like, I've done that. And I was like, but you don't understand. You're not the only person who's just done that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like about 10 people do that just when you're walking down the road. And so then when you think of it in that way and like how it weighs on you, you know, so these things, I think it needs to be taught and implemented like properly into people's psyche, and these subconscious beliefs that we have need to be removed so that they're no longer even available in society to be taken away. Does that make any sense?
It does, like, but
I don't think it's a case of being like, right, we're going to make this more diverse.
Yeah.
And because that's a very image focused
No,
thing.
it
Do you know
is
what I
very
mean?
image focused.
The way the society is, that I think like stuff like films and that, like producing that will go out the way to make a film more diverse. Why is it like that? Why not just?
Yeah. Well, no,
It should be like that anyway. Do you know what I mean? It shouldn't be like we've decided to do this and make it more diverse and be better and have a lead role as a woman.
Yeah.
Why does that have to be a thought? Why not just make it happen anyway? It should be common knowledge. Do you know what I mean?
And I think if people were just in that way and that was like their vibration, they would just create that. And like you say, it wouldn't even be a consideration. It wouldn't be like, right, we're going to do this and that person's going to be in that role, and that it would just happen. And I think it is going that way. I've watched a few things recently. What was the thing I watched? Something on the BBC. Can't remember the name of it at all now. It was all about consent.
I don't know.
Anyway, yeah, it was good. Can't remember.
Was that quite like inclusive, was it?
Very like, but like, and very representative, I think, of like modern society and probably how, like all different kinds of relationships, all different people, all different jobs, like it was very much about consent and stuff like that, and it was that interesting. Can't remember the name of it. Sorry.
Do you know what you'll do? You'll leave here. You'll be in the lift. Go.
That's it.
I typed in BBC consent show. First thing comes up is I May Destroy You.
That's it. I May Destroy You.
Is it good? Yeah, is it worth a watch?
Yeah, worth a watch. Yeah. It's quite heavy. It is quite heavy, but it shows a lot of things. It's like a modern TV show, really, and things that go on, like in
the world is heavy though, isn't it?
The world is
heavy in capital letters.
Heavy.
It's proper heavy.
The word heavy is mad though, like the way Scousers use it anyway, innit?
Yeah.
Because I could be saying a good, bad, or anything, and you don't even know it.
Heavy.
Yeah, heavy that.
You two say it all the time.
Yeah, we do. Like,
no, it's heavy, like.
Yeah, because it's basically use it like to go, oh, she's heavy, yeah.
yeah. I wouldn't now, but have you seen that episode? No, I thought that's what he was referring to.
No.
Go back and watch episode 2, I think. So have you found, with the world being heavy at the moment, have you kind of found it all? Like, since the start, really?
Do you know what? I've gone through, you know, I've gone through multiple things this year, I think. So it's gone into little bits of darkness, but I think I've been so grateful for all of the things that I've built up over the past, decade, do you know what I mean? And have really helped me to get through, and then it's pushed me to know that, like, other people need that as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been okay. I've tried to just, I don't know, it's just like everyone in it, you know, it's just, I don't like that thing of saying, I'm better, you know, it could be worse. Because loads of people kept saying that to me, and I was like, don't dismiss what you're going through just because it could be worse, do you know what I mean? But I think for me, definitely, I really had to just be with that and think, you know, I've got food, I've got a house, you know, there's not, I'm not suffering. I think, you know, work-wise, it's been a little bit
difficult,
bit
hasn't
of,
it? Yeah.
bit of a kick in the gut, like, but you've just got to adapt, haven't you, and find other ways. And
So, how long have you actually been to, like, a yoga instructor? Like
it is 6 years.
6 years.
I saw, did you post yesterday or the day before, you've done like 1,500 hours of learning
I did
yoga.
loads of teacher training courses.
Yeah,
I don't know
that's
why.
an insane amount of hours. That. Do you reckon you've done 10,000 hours of yoga? Because that's the number, isn't it? 10,000 hours.
Probably, yeah, because I used to,
That's a lot
I
of
do
yoga.
it. I do it every day, like.
So have you been around the world for training training camps and
India
stuff?
was where I did most of my trainings. Did 4 in India, and then I've done 2 in the UK. I've done a children's yoga, and my womb yoga was in the UK.
Boss. So what was India like for yoga? Was it
Boss.
spiritual?
I can imagine,
Yeah, unbelievable. It's just a special place. It's
Yeah.
just like, I don't know, you can't even explain India. Like, it's so special.
My uncle he's been everywhere, and he said, like, travelled everywhere. Like, for his job, he used to work on the ships. And he was done dredging on the ship, so he travelled all around everywhere. And he went on a holiday to India. I think he'd done like 3-4 weeks.
Yeah.
Best place he's ever done.
Yeah.
We've been back 3 times. He's like, it's just like every time's like a new adventure. Funny story actually. He went he was in a restaurant, and he said, "Where's the toilet, please?"
Yeah.
He said, "Just follow the sign." So like, he seen toilet. Opened the back door, and he was outside. He was like, "What?" And he seen another sign, "Toilet's this way." So we crossed 2 roads, and that was the toilet. Went in, and it was just a hole in the floor.
Yeah, it is funny.
Sanitary that though, it's miles away.
Yeah.
Boss. So how did you get into yoga, and like how did that come about? And
So
so did you say a decade earlier? Sorry,
yeah,
10 years ago. Was it cool?
It was probably about 10 years ago that I first went to a yoga class, but it
Okay.
wasn't until I was 20 when I went to a class, and it like really impacted me. I'd gone to Australia, like everybody did. Did either of you go to Australia?
didn't
I
know.
feel like everyone went to
Yeah.
Australia.
Everyone still
this
does,
year,
though.
but
Yeah.
everyone just went. So I just went. Don't know why. I think it was a bit of escapism, to be honest. I was trying to sort of escape my life the way that it was here, and I got there and it was just worse. And my first few months in Australia, it just went, they always say like it's living the dream, don't they? And I always like, I've got like written in my diary like I am not living the dream. Like I was proper depressed. I was with this lad who was just horrible to me. Didn't have any money. I think I got sacked from about 4 jobs. Like I used to stay in this hostel room where everyone used to just get off their head, and like it was just horrendous. So
Jay's thinking living the dream.
I'd be living the dream for a few hours, and then the next morning it was
Living the
a nightmare. Yeah. So I ended up getting this job as a nanny, and I moved into this house, and it was like a proper like lifeline. Do you know what I mean? And then I went to yoga through her. She was like, "Why don't you try and go to yoga?" And I just remember. So I went to this yoga class, and as I say, I say depressed, you know, I was very down. And at the time it was raining in Australia. This was the other funny thing. I went in July and just thought it was always sunny in Australia. I didn't think to look up.
Look short of you.
All I had was shorts, and it was freezing. So I was in this class, and I had to walk up this massive hill to get back up to the house that I was staying at the time, and it was teeming. And I just remember walking out and just being so happy, walking home in the rain, and I was like, what is this? Like, what is this feeling? And yeah, that was it. And there was another time where I'd been out, and I was having a very bad time. Call it a hangover. And I walked past this church, but near to the yoga studio, and it just said in it, just when you're about to quit is when miracles happen.
Yeah.
And I've never forgotten it. And I always think, is that the moment where I, quote unquote, woke up? Was that it? Because something changed in my mind in that moment where I was like, whoa, that was proper like divine intervention. I was outside the church. It's not... But yeah, and then, so from there, then I met this girl, madly, who was going to India to do a yoga teacher training, which now when I hear people say that's dead normal, but at the time I was like, you're doing what?
That's what I was going to say, like 10 years ago, that must have been like, oh, I lost the plot.
I was like, you're going to India, you're doing what? Like, what? I couldn't, and then I went on to get a job in this restaurant, and they were going to sponsor me, which is like a big thing in Australia. Like everybody wants to be sponsored. I was going through this sponsorship program thing. But I was like, I've got to go to India. Like I just knew I had to go to India. So I came home from Australia. I'd saved up all my money to do a sponsorship. And then I ended up emailing them and saying like, no, I'm going to India. And my first teacher training course was 3 months. Most of them were only a month. So I was there in Mumbai for 3 months. It was, but like it was quite life-changing, really.
Yeah.
I don't think I really realised at the time how life-changing it was and how much it changed me.
Yeah.
But my dad used to always say, you're dead weird since you got back from India. So that's how much it changed.
That's a good sign, isn't it?
Becky's gone. It's mad for like my mum and dad always say things to me, and I'm just like, you It's like the property, you just don't get it, mum.
Yeah,
You just don't get it.
Yeah, my mum and dad just
Yeah.
think I'm a proper round the bend. My dad goes, did you read that on the internet? Like, no, Dad, I channeled it.
Funny that. Our 10 Tilly have got me, like, I own the Netflix. So this is cheeky, actually. I pay for this Netflix account, and they've got accounts on it, and whenever I go on, sometimes they change my name to Gandhi. Like, why have you done that? They're like, because you're meditating. I'm like, I don't think Gandhi meditated. I think he was just a peaceful guy. They're like, yeah, but you're always on about, like, just be, like, calm and that. Like, so I'll change it back to Jack, and then it'll be like, Buddha. Just like, oh, the proper. But then, they all love it. All my family are, like, open to it, but they just try and, like, have a go. I'm just like, what? Why are you coming at me, bro? Just neggy vibes. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, but going to, I imagine 10 years ago, if you told your dad you was going to India for 3 months, you must have been like...
Yeah. Well, that was 6 years ago.
Was it?
6 years ago, yeah. But I always just pop in with mad information to my mum the other day. I told her something, she was like, you can't shock me anymore. Like, you can't.
That's boss, that. You're going to go on camera with that, or are you going to keep it?
With what I told her. I've just started seeing someone else, but, like, I was seeing a girl, and this is a boy, so I think it's a bit gone.
Oh, okay, and your mum was just like...
It's just like, what? You came out, like, 2 years ago.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. Okay.
Yeah. So I said, you might be quite shocked. She said, you can't shock me anymore. So
I think that's a good character trait to have, that you can't shock someone.
Yeah.
Not surprised.
No, I'm full of surprises, me.
You always surprise me, you, definitely, yeah. So in terms, if we were to go for... I want to hear yours. If we were to go for 3 people who you'd have for dinner, dead or alive, who would you have?
So I had a little think about this, and I just thought straight away I'd have to have John Lennon there.
Would you? Yeah.
I just so we can just...
Well, recent news: Paul McCartney and John Lennon once had a moment together.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Did
you
not?
Moment.
A self-love moment together.
It was the 60s. It was all peace and love. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I know. Yeah.
Bit too much love on this occasion, like. Definitely John Lennon. Just want to sit there and just. I'd probably just be in awe of him. Be like, wow.
Yeah. Do you think it'd be good to converse with them?
Oh, 100%.
No, I reckon he wouldn't say much.
Yeah, I reckon he'd just play it cool, me.
I reckon he'd be one of them, like, you'd like make him a cup of tea and you'd be wondering if he liked it, but he wouldn't say nothing.
Yeah.
He'd
be sat there sipping it,
can I prove this?
expressionless. Tea alright?
Yeah, but do you know what I mean? It's like, you can't... I'm expecting to be coming all guns blazing, do you know what I mean? We're going to be talk for hours. I'd have Anthony Bourdain.
Yeah.
He actually... Oh, well, we can have the same
Dan
one.
Flavitt.
Do you know who Anthony Bourdain is?
I don't think I do, no.
So he was like, he's a chef from America, and he started doing this show. It's on Netflix actually. It's called
Parts Unknown.
Parts
He's
Unknown.
like a Gordon Ramsay but better.
He's like, and he just
wrote books and that.
he's so like he just goes from like place to place. So like he might do an episode. He might do an episode on London. He might do an episode on like Tokyo, and he just like
Glasgow's one.
he goes to have food, goes to see the culture, meets people like famous people who are just known around.
It's
gets
less
to know
about
the culture.
the food though, isn't it? It's more about like...
It started off as a food program.
Yeah.
And now it's just over
it's
time.
like socio-economic, political issues in a city.
Yeah, but he actually he hung himself 3 years ago, and he looks. You meet him and he's like.
Do you remember his name?
On location, he was. They were in France.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, and he was so. You watch the program, he looks so happy. He's got the best job ever, and you don't know what he's like. You know what I mean? But watching him, he's so interesting to speak to, and then he can cook as well.
Always bonus.
And the third one, I was in a proper. I didn't know who to do. I was like, who else could I have to make this even better? I'd probably just have Jürgen Klopp, to be fair.
Would you?
Because I've just admired him that much, and I just love him. So I think he'd be great as well. Do you know what I mean? John Lennon, I'm getting off. He's like, me and you were staying, having an eating.
He would be just smoking biff after biff, wouldn't he?
At the Bourdain and John Lennon will get off in a Delta, and me and Jürgen Klopp will be listening to, I don't know, Kraftwerk till 3 a.m.
Who would yours be back?
Oh, so the first one I thought of is like, this is a bit, well, it's not cheap, but I thought my sister, because she lives in Italy, and I can't have dinner with her right now, and then I just thought me family, do you know what I mean?
Oh,
that was like
nice,
my first thing.
Where does she live in Italy?
Modena.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know, I thought it's a bit bad if I don't say that. Like, you know, it's like, but you said dead or alive, so. And then one person who always thinks I'd love to have dinner with is Russell Brand. I think I'd just love to have a conversation with him.
It'd be
like,
interesting.
Yeah, I feel like, you know, all of the thoughts that you'd have, like the really deep thoughts, like I have this thing all the time, I think I can't articulate the things I've experienced. And then I listen to Russell Brand, I'm like, you're articulating that thing that I've
You
experienced.
speak so well, doesn't he?
But it just flows and flows,
just
doesn't it?
flows.
It doesn't stop.
And words where I think, I don't know what that means, but I do know what it means when you say it.
Yeah.
And then there was a few others then. I was thinking Malcolm X, Dr. Sabi, and then, do you know Brene Brown? There's more than three. There's lots of people at this dinner party. It's not very COVID safe.
All got masks on.
All in different rooms in the house, on Zoom.
Zooming, yeah.
Yeah, I think them. They're the people who... So Brene Brown, I just think she'd be dead interesting conversation. I think Malcolm X would be a very interesting conversation, and I think Dr. Sabi would be a very interesting conversation.
Yeah.
Not sure Malcolm X would want to come to mine for tea, but I'll ask
He's
him.
just going to choose, unfortunately.
Do you want to come to ours? My sister's coming.
I don't know who my third one would be. I know me two off the bat. So me dead one, who would come from dead, would be my nan. I'd love to have a scam with my nan again. You know what I mean? Just proper like chicken dippers and chips that we had when we were kids, like that, with my nan conversation. Then so we'll start. That sounds like we're starting off pretty morbid, but we're not. We're getting up there. Then Mike Tyson.
Oh, yeah,
Imagine
yeah.
his
Mike Tyson
man.
and your nan at the table.
Don't get me wrong, I haven't thought they'll go with it. I'm just thinking of three people I would like to speak to.
So do you not like, tell us about your fights then?
I think though, me nan and Mike
Who
Tyson.
punched hardest?
I think me nan and Mike Tyson would get on because it's just like, I reckon Mike Tyson would be good with nans. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, Diana.
You're like you.
Fun nice to meet you. It would be though, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Fun nice to meet you. And me nan would talk to anyone. And I don't know who my third one would be, you know. Probably. I've got a few musicians here in my head.
That's what I thought. I was like, if I invited another musician, I just think they're going to him and John Lennon just be talking all night, and I feel like I want a bit of John Lennon's hand. Do you know what I mean?
Third wheel.
Yeah.
I'd be like that, like, come on, boys, you've had your time now.
I'm just trying to think of like significant people in history. Hit me with a few, Jay.
Henry VIII.
This is individual.
Bringing all as
What's
well.
going on there,
It would
lads?
be mad, wouldn't it? Like getting people like back then, like, and just like, what was life like?
Do you know what?
Yeah.
It would be. Yeah,
Yeah.
it would be.
I'll get God on actually.
Yeah, do you know what?
Jesus.
If I could have 3 people for dinner, I've had 3 more people for dinner. I feel we should have unlimited wishes. I don't know. Someone from history. Genghis Khan.
Who's that?
You've never heard of Genghis Khan? He was like, have you heard of the Mongols, the Mongolians? They're like the biggest army the world's ever seen, just took over the planet. And he was like the head of them. Yeah, Genghis Khan is a serious... Yeah, I love Genghis Khan.
There's so many people now you've said, like, I was thinking like quite modern times when I was thinking going back to proper ancient times, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Get me great granddad on.
You could have like Tutankhamun, do you know what I mean? Or like...
Yeah, but what do you know what I mean? I've made you chicken dippers and chips, you'd be like... Chicken dippers.
Mike didn't complain.
Yeah, Mike loves them.
Chicken dippers for you and Tutankhamun. We've got a hog roasted in the back for you.
Who would you have, Jacob?
Stephen Fry.
Yeah. Oh, lad, Stephen Fry.
He'd be a great one to have, to be fair.
So was it 3?
Yeah.
Oh shit, I'm on the spot now.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know. Stephen Fry's incredible. Maybe like a scientist or something as
Yeah.
well.
Do you know what'd be good for dinner? You know, David Icke.
Oh
Yeah.
my god, not with
Can I
your nan.
just point out that no women are getting invited for dinner here?
Me nan?
Except your nan.
Yeah. Oh, okay, yeah. Let's think of notable women from... Oh, yeah.
Yeah, what
Notable women. See, there we go. We clearly have some work to do.
yeah, 100%.
I mean, I only invited one.
And it was your family, wasn't it?
Oh, no, I invited 2.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, my sister.
Oh,
and
yeah, you
Amy
did,
Brown. Yeah.
Oh,
Amy Winehouse came to mind.
oh yeah.
Oh, yeah, she'd be amazing to
Serious,
have.
Amy Winehouse,
She could
yeah.
do the music.
Okay, here's a question then. Who's one of your most influential women from history then? Who's dead, do you think?
Who's dead?
Yeah.
Or alive.
What? Do you know what though? Do you know the reason that'll be a difficult question is because most of the good work women have done throughout history has just been covered up, hasn't it?
Yeah. I think that, I mean, there's a lot of women who respect in the modern time, like the woman who I learned the womb yoga from, she's called Uma Dinsmore Tooley. She's She's unbelievable. Like all the women of the books that I've read, there's a woman called Queen of Fua, Alexandra Pope. They've written all the books
Do you know
that
what,
the work that I
Frida
came
Kahlo?
from.
No, the artist.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
She's not an artist. Was she an artist?
Yeah, she was an artist.
The one with the eyebrows.
Yeah, the one with the eyebrows. Yeah, she'd be interesting.
yeah.
Sorry, I've just cut you off there.
No, it's alright. So I was just mulling over it. I actually thought what you've just said. I was thinking maybe one of like me great nans or something.
Yeah.
I never met me nan on my dad's side. And
I
I've
never
been
did
told
myself,
like in
yeah.
readings and stuff, like she's the one who like guides you spiritually.
Oh,
and I've
yeah.
been told to like ask your dad and stuff. And my dad said she used to read tea leaves and stuff, but
Yeah.
I don't think anyone really knew her. My dad was only 5 when she died, so I don't know.
Yeah.
She might have been the spiritual one, but nobody ever knew. I don't know. Yeah.
Amy Winehouse would be an amazing one to have, wouldn't
Yeah,
she?
yeah.
She'd be just
really
blowing my mind, to be honest with you.
good.
Oh, so I admire women-wise. I should have thought about this more before.
Yeah. Me just throwing it on you.
Yeah.
Being called out there. No women.
It's a very masculine dinner.
Yeah. I'd have my mum. I took my mum for tea the other day before I knew we were going on lockdown. Took for the Weddies.
Not to cheat a woman, don't
said
you?
to mum, we'll go anywhere you want. Where do you want to go? Just the Weddies.
To be fair, the Wetherspoons by yours is spot on. Like,
It is.
I think it got voted like the second best in the country. Innit? Honest to God.
You voted.
I don't know. That's a question. I was going to say, how do you know that? That's a good question. But who did vote for that? I don't know. We got told in there once. So it is definitely though. It's not quite the best.
Oh yeah, I wonder where the best is.
Yeah, I believe it's in an airport.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh right.
I asked that question. Curious George. Yeah. So why is the song
Where is the
second
best? Because I've got a really heavy meal planned.
I'm taking my mum off for tea. Which one's the best? Oh, let's think about this woman question. This is gonna burn my cap up, you know. I'll get back. No, I'm not gonna get back to you. Let's Google notable women in history.
You're just cheating there, though, aren't you?
No, but then we can say like, oh yeah.
Yeah, it's hard. Yeah, it's like, yeah.
Notable women throughout history.
Marie Curie is the
Oh, she'd be a great one.
Oh yeah, she'd be great. Have you ever seen that list of like things women have invented and like it's like never been recognised?
Oh mate, Anne Frank.
Crazy.
Anne Frank.
Oh, Anne Frank would be
Anne
an amazing
Frank,
one.
Yeah.
Interesting one.
Oh, that'd be a great one to have on, wouldn't you?
Imagine getting her to your party and like, hey, do you want to know something mad? One of the best sellers of all time, this
I know,
book here,
yeah.
and it's yours. Yeah, sit down, there's a bevy on
I've
the
read
way.
your diary.
Yeah, no, yeah. Spoiler alert, I've read your diary, sorry. Before you find out it's actually, it's a belter.
There's been so many like amazing women through history.
Rosa Parks.
Yeah.
I do believe Rosa Parks didn't actually mean to protest, did she? Like she didn't mean to. I remember seeing an interview. And am I right to think of Rosa Parks was the one who
She sat down.
She was on the way.
she said I'm
Yeah.
not getting up, yeah. I'd seen an interview once and she said like it wasn't like a big civil rights thing for me. It was I'm just not moving for you. And then that kind of sparked the civil rights thing. Didn't
I was
it,
at a
as well?
party and one of my mates, his mum, lived in Saudi Arabia for 3 years, and she was like head of one of the hospitals and like
His mum was.
yeah, his mum was like she was head of one of the hospitals here, and he turned around and said like, I want me freedom. I want to move out or something like that. And she went, what about this? I'll move away for my career, like, and that's just, she went to Saudi Arabia. She actually wrote a book on it. She's writing a book on it apparently about her experience and that. But she said like,
As a woman
go
in
to
Saudi
McDonald's.
Arabia.
Like there's a McDonald's for men and a McDonald's for women, and they sell more stuff in the men's than they do the women. Apparently, like if you didn't have like obviously it's religious in it. It's like they got to cover up all the body and like there'd be men going like, because she's a westernized woman. Do you know what I mean? It's not used to it. She said, living in that type of society, like it's so hard, and it was not stressful, but like you were stressed, like
thinking
I need what to wear and that. And she said in the end, I think she was in one of the hospitals and she was like, nah, I'm not doing it. She said no, and she put her foot down.
You just got off.
I think that was she didn't
she
wear those.
just not-
She was like, I want to be myself, I want to be comfortable. It's the way I live. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The world. I was having that conversation with someone once about this like misbalance and the oppression and blah blah blah, and talking about this country. And one of my friends pointed out like it's not even about this country, like worldwide. Like there's women who still get stoned in some parts
it's
of the
mad,
world. Do you know
isn't
what I
it?
mean? Like it's
crazy.
Yeah, insane.
It is insane how privileged you are to not have to think about like that. Imagine having to think about like, oh, I can only go to this Mackey's or that Mackey's.
Stevie Nicks.
Yeah.
I'd have Stevie Nicks in ours.
Mother Teresa, she'd be good.
Oh yeah.
Florence Nightingale. Cleopatra.
Yeah.
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 Whoopi
I'd have
Goldberg.
you know what? Forget about who was my third one.
I thought you were going to drop your nan
said
there.
Hitler.
No, man, forget about me now. No.
Keep Hitler there.
I'd have my nan, Cleopatra, and Mike Tyson. Cleopatra would answer all my questions I've got. Every question I've got, I reckon she'd just be able to, oh, yeah, we'll pick that apart. Yeah, definitely. Cleopatra, defo. I'm going to go on record now, Cleopatra. Anne Frank would be a good one. Catherine, no.
Might get rid of Jurgen Klopp and we'll get I don't really want to get rid of Jurgen Klopp.
Lady Di, Princess Diana.
Oh yeah, Princess
She'd be
Diana.
interesting,
She's no
Oh
stuff,
yeah,
isn't she?
She knows some
defo.
serious
But
information.
there'd be like Carrie Fisher. I'd love to get her on.
Yeah.
I'd get her on like she's coming on the podcast.
Jennifer Aniston, I think she'd be good. I watched an interview with her yesterday, actually. I think she'd be good to have a conversation. She's been through some stuff here, mate.
Kesha.
Kesha?
No. But
I don't know anything about her. Just thinking of the song.
Yeah.
Why is she interested? Is she?
Oh, have you not heard? She got assaulted by a producer.
Did she?
Yeah, I don't know what his name is. He's got a mad name, and apparently she signed like an album deal, and like that's why she doesn't release music, because she's signed to a contract to release. She can't release music because she's signed to a contract. But I think it's went to court and that, and nothing's come from it. But she's adamant she's been assaulted by the producer. I think.
It's a bit heavy. Have you ever heard about what happened to Duffy?
No,
Duffy.
I've never heard that now.
Kidnapped while she was famous and like held captive for like a month and like raped and like.
I've heard something like that. I didn't know it was
And that's
Duffy,
why
though.
she's like disappeared.
That's nuts.
Duffy, she just got robbed from like a restaurant or something.
That's terrible, though.
Insane.
Mad.
Like Duffy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Didn't she have a security with her on that?
No, I don't think so, because I don't think she's that.
She weren't that
She's
big.
Duffy.
She's that.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't think she's
yeah,
needs.
someone just told me the other day and I was like, oh, that's proper heavy.
That is heavy.
Heavy.
I remember Matt, she had a tune called Warwick Avenue, and two of my mates used to live on a road called Warwick Avenue. And we were like, mad that. Pop your road, they clearly went.
Heavy.
Yeah, heavy. But
Is that time?
album of the week.
Oh yeah. Did you have a listen?
I
Or
did.
you
I didn't
watch?
listen to it. I didn't watch.
No.
No, but I listened.
That's the
It's-
full experience.
Yeah.
That.
Yeah, watch it.
What
I'll
did you
watch
think?
it when I get
It's-
home. I thought, because I was like, right, I've got to really analyse this now, haven't I? So I was like, okay. I thought it was very like disco-y.
Yeah.
It came to my mind. I don't know how this will land, but it was a bit like the Beatles mixed with MGMT.
No, good analogy. Yeah.
I was
Great.
like,
Yeah.
that's kind of what this is.
I seen it's good a good analogy. Somebody said like the Beach Boys, like a modern Beach Boys in a way,
Yeah.
which is a good analogy. But I said that last time, I was like, for me they're like a modern day Beatles, like
Yeah.
production wise, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
we chose the live album because we seen them live, didn't we, in Manchester?
Yeah.
And it was so good. It was such one of the best gigs I've been to.
Yeah.
And they done the
Way
live.
back when you could go to gigs.
Yeah.
It probably was 2018. It was, wasn't it? Funny enough,
Don't know that. I'm still thinking about me dinner with my nanny.
we went there, and we would we went on a minibus, didn't we? It was in Manchester. It was like a Monday night, and one of our mates went to the toilet and was just having a normal wee. He thought, and security coming and ragged him. He was like, "What are you doing?" He was like, "Just having a wee." And he was like, "You know, you're pissing in the sink."
But the sinks were urinals. They look like urinals. Yeah, no. Mad.
So you got kicked out for that, but
Forgot about that. No, they are good.
he missed the whole show as well.
He did, yeah. Sat in the bar over the road.
He got kicked out before the show started, sat in the bar and come home.
Funny that, isn't it?
But they done a live album. They could have had a crowd there, and they said, "No, we want to concentrate and make this spot on." Like,
yeah.
and it was called Hoxha. It's actually called Hansa, and David Bowie done an album there.
I'd have David Bowie out there.
You too.
Oh yeah, David Bowie.
Oh yeah, David Bowie, man.
Yeah.
Iggy Pop done an album there. You
Pop,
two
what
have,
kind of guy.
I think, and I think Pixies. I think it was Pixies. I think that as well.
Yeah.
It's well renowned, like, and it's really really good.
It's like the Abbey Road of Berlin, one of them.
It's renowned for it. Like,
Yeah.
I think something to do with their. They said, I think they've seen that their landlord is mates with the owner or something, and he went down just had a little play around and was like, "We're doing it here." Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Defo doing it here, but it's such a good album. We love them, don't we? We've got
Yeah,
enough.
they are sick. Like, they're unbelievable. They're very much like the Beatles, though. I picked up on that because, like, even the first album cover, yeah, I'll show you the photo of it. It's like, it is a Beatles photo, isn't it?
It's
Like,
the one
that's what they've
on the
done.
airplane, yeah.
Yeah, and like the first two tunes on the album, like, you don't know when the first tune finishes and the second tune starts because it's the same type of tune.
Is it
One's
Lighten Up
called
and
Come
Come
Down
Down?
and then Lighten Up, and it goes in and it does that on Sgt. Pepper's. Do you know where it's like, what's the first tune?
I think it's
It goes Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts.
it's the
Club Band.
reprise in it, yeah. No,
Yeah.
it's not. No, it's not. I don't know.
It is, I
Can't
think it is. But then that goes into With a Little Help from My Friends then, and it
Yeah.
sounds like the same tune. And I'll show you
yeah.
this photo. They are very Beatles. Everyone picks up on that. Everyone, yeah.
Oh, well, I'm made up there with my music critiquing.
Get you a job in what's a music magazine? No.
Enemy.
Yeah. But I don't even think we told you that you need to pick an album. But what would your album of the week be for next week's guest to listen to?
Album of the week.
Yeah. So just an album that like you're either into at the moment, one that means a lot to you, one that you recommend everyone has to listen to at least once.
Willow Smith.
Oh, yeah?
Smith. Yeah. Have you heard the music?
I haven't heard the music.
I haven't heard
just remember,
since I haven't.
No, she's got much better music. It's
can-
called RP. I'm not even going to try and pronounce it.
Yeah.
But unbelievable album.
Is it fairly modern? Is it a few years old?
It's a few. Well, I discovered the other day she was like 14 or 15 when she wrote it, so about 5 years old.
Oh, yeah. Is she
She's
still
some-
active? Is she in music?
Yeah.
Just not had many like chart toppers.
Well, she does like quite conscious music, so I just don't think that they're gonna let.
There's an
that
audience
get,
for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Smiths are very
indie,
conscious, aren't they? The ones very conscious.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
they're woke
And
fan,
that
yeah.
album, I would definitely recommend listening to it. Like
Yeah.
it's sick. Yeah.
Oh,
One
I'm
of my
looking forward
favourites.
to
Or
it.
Janae Aiko as well.
Yeah.
Again, I don't know the album name. It's LSD.
I've heard the Janae Aiko, yeah.
That's a sick album as well.
Yeah, I'm surprised Willow Smith's still in music. I just remember with my hair.
I'd have Willow Smith for tea, I reckon.
Would you? Yeah.
Yeah. And the whole family actually.
Yeah, the Smiths
Yeah,
are cool, aren't they?
Ask them about the entanglement.
Yeah.
Did you see that? Didn't you know you seen it?
No.
Just Google it.
Have you seen it?
Have you seen about the
I feel like I've
entanglement?
been asleep.
No, what is
Is
it?
that like, it sounds like what is an entanglement?
No.
Like Trump's impeachment?
No, Jada Pinkett Smith had like an affair with someone.
August Alsina, the rapper.
But they
I've
called
heard
it an
recently.
entanglement, but there's like a video. They do a thing called the Red Table. Have you seen it? Red Table Talks with like Willow Smith and Jada
Yeah,
Pinkett
I've
Smith.
seen it, yeah.
So and they're talking and so they get it out and talk about this thing and they just called it an entanglement, but everyone was buzzing off it. Haven't you seen it? You know,
Nah.
like 50 Cent like messaged Will Smith.
Is it a proper like meme?
You're like,
Yeah.
yeah.
So why is it called an
Out the
entanglement?
loop, aren't
Because
we?
she
Yeah,
used
we're
that
proper
word. She said something like, I
naff.
ended up in this entanglement with August. So everyone was like, oh, when you just end up in an accidental entanglement.
Oh yeah, I see. Yeah,
Yeah.
I have been asleep for far too long. Clearly, there's a lot we don't know. Mate. And boss. I'd probably have Will Smith actually. He'd
yeah,
be interesting.
yeah, he would be interesting.
No.
What?
Indecisive here, me. Huh?
I know I am, you know.
Difficult competition.
It's like, because I thought about it beforehand and was like, I've got me 3, and then was like, oh, there's so
Yeah.
many people I haven't
Yeah,
thought of. Do you know what I mean?
yeah.
Like when you started naming people, I was like, I got there's lots of much better people than I had to pick. Do you know what I mean?
No,
John Lennon and Klopp, how generic is that? Do you know what I mean?
No.
I mean, how many fellas would say that?
Do you know what? Yeah. Yeah, do you know what I mean? How many scouts?
How many
Yeah, how many scout fellas would say
John
that?
Lennon and Klopp and
Yeah.
Gerrard. Why not? Why not?
Gerard Carragher and Robbie Fowler. Now, one of my favourite were probably women artists, Blondie.
No, yeah.
She's so
Oh,
good.
Lauren
she's
Hill.
good.
I'd have Lauren Hill.
Lauren
Lauren
Hill.
Hill,
You know
yeah,
what?
yeah.
We've seen Lauren Hill at Glasgow,
Jill
and
Scott.
Oh,
she
yeah,
weren't
Badu
that
as
good, you
well.
know.
Wasn't she? No.
She weren't that good, no.
Really, yeah.
Was it
That
not
was
your
a
bad,
bold
bruv?
statement, that, you know. Cut that out.
No, she just. I went to Barber's the other day, and I was like, oh yeah, Lauren Hill was in Glasgow, and the other barber was like, she weren't that good, was she? And I was like, I was literally about to say
What
that.
was you expecting though? What was she like?
I don't know. I don't know. It just sometimes happens at Glastonbury,
It sometimes happens at gigs. And
Yeah,
that,
it just
like, you're
happens
like,
at
"They're not
gigs."
what you thought,
Yeah.
or just gigs, not just a fucking
Yeah.
one festival. Like, you know what I mean?
give it a second go, Lauren Hill, mate.
Yeah.
Do you know, have you ever heard of Jill Scott?
I feel like I have, yeah, but I don't know if
Yeah.
She's a
I've
footballer,
listened
isn't
to much of her music.
Is she a footballer?
No, there's a footballer, like a big footballer called Jill Scott.
She might be a footballer, but
Yeah.
not this Jill
Oh,
Scott
well.
anyway. She's like she's very soulful, very like she's a bit like Lauren Hill,
Yeah.
but she was on stage. No, was it Jill Scott? No, Jill Scott. Sorry, was on stage after Erykah Badu, and so Erykah Badu. It was Erykah Badu's tour, but she was coming on after her for some reason. I don't know why. And so it was in a book I read. So Jill Scott, someone said to her backstage, like, "Oh, aren't you nervous to go on after Erykah Badu? Do you know Erykah Badu?
Yeah.
Like, you're not nervous to go on stage?" And she was like, "I won't do how I imagine." She said it, but she said, "Honey, I'm Jill Scott. She's Erykah Badu. She can't do what I can do, and I can't do what she can do." I remember reading it like, "You're sick, you're a
That's a
belter."
good message for everyone to have, really,
It is,
isn't
isn't
it?
it?
Yeah.
Aren't you nervous to go on after
Yeah.
Jay and Jack?
That's a sick album as well. Is it On and On, Erykah Badu?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that is a
that's
sick
a good
album.
album.
So you're picking,
Yeah.
what is it, Jill's, no, not
I'm
Jill
going to
Scott.
go with them 3. I'm going to
Yeah.
go with that. Janae Aiko. I think it's called LSD. Willow Smith and Erykah Badu, On and On.
Sounds, you got to pick one
Yeah.
now.
I've got to pick one out of them 3.
Yeah, it's for next week.
Oh, why? What? Who
So
for?
this wasn't our concept. Phil, we had him on in episode 3. We
Yeah.
picked an album for him to listen to, and then he said, "Can I pick an album for next week's guest to
Oh,
listen to?"
okay.
So one
Make
that-
my list. Let me
Bear
read a
in mind,
book.
our next guest is very musical.
Willow Smith cycle. Arpedatus or something it's called.
Yeah, sounds.
It's got like a thing like emerging into an avatar on the cover. So that one, yeah.
That one, yeah. Whatever that one is.
You know, we'll put a picture somewhere around.
Right here. Belter. That's
Yeah.
everything, isn't it?
Dad jokes.
wrap.
Where are the dad jokes? In
Oh,
here.
I love that joke.
Oh, there's the book behind
Yeah.
you. Jay wrote the book. Do you love a dad joke? It's for
No,
you.
you
need to
do.
read them.
You open up, and if you have a little read first, and if it's
Or have you got any
Alright.
off the top of your head?
I've got a really good joke, but it's a bit long
it's all right, we've got.
to
How
tell.
much time have we got, Jacob?
Plenty of time.
What?
Plenty of time,
Yeah.
mate.
Have we?
Got
Yeah.
enough time for my joke?
Yeah.
Alright, I'm made up. So, this
If
is
I
not
walk
gonna-
into a bar,
Is it going to be one of them like you get us going and then, or is it a
no,
good
it's so good.
Is it?
Yeah.
Boss.
So there's this family of balloons, right?
joke? Oh, here we go.
There's a mum's balloon and a dad balloon and a baby balloon. Me here to
I know
talk
this
about
one.
my work and that.
Yeah, so forget about the balloon. It's about the balloon.
It's joy is the best thing, isn't it?
Yeah,
So
it
mum's
is.
a mum balloon, dad balloon, a baby balloon. Do you know it? I'm talking
Yeah,
dead
yeah,
balloons.
yeah.
No, I don't. Do you know it, Jacob?
And they all sleep in a bed together. And one day, mum balloon and dad balloon, they have a conversation, and they're like, "Listen, the baby balloon can't sleep in the bed with us anymore. He's getting too big now.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a joke." So they sit him down. They say, "Listen, baby balloon, you're older now. You can't sleep in the bed with us anymore." And he's gutted and that, but he's like, "All right, I'll go and sleep in my own bed." So like, it's happening in front of me.
This is a mad concept. I'm picturing the dad's defo blue. The mum's a yellow one and the baby balloon's red, maybe green.
Yeah, it'd be green, wouldn't it? It was yellow and blue.
Yeah.
Um,
Basic year 6 art. Yeah.
So they all get into bed anyway that night. Baby balloon goes to bed. Mum and dad balloon go to bed. And baby balloon's just lying there and he's like that. He's like, "Oh, can't sleep. And he's like,
Bloated.
Just bloated. Yeah. He's like, "Oh, God's sake, I miss my mum and dad. I'm going to get in bed with them." So he floats over. And he's like that and he tries to get in the bed. And he can't get in. There's no space at all. He can't get in the bed. So he's like, "What can I do?" So he goes over to
Because he's sentient. This is unusual.
he goes over to his dad and he undoes his dad's thing. And he just,
Yeah, the little
little
knot.
knot. And he just lets out a little bit of air
Yeah.
and he ties him back up and he tries to get back in the bed. He can't. He goes, "Oh, just do me mum." So he was like that. Lets out a little bit of air, ties it up and tries to get in the bed. And he's like, "For God's sake, I still can't get in." So he undoes himself and then he lets loads and loads of air.
He undoes himself and he lets loads out.
He lets
Is that the punchline?
That's the end.
Chilling.
He lets out loads of air and he ties himself back in and he gets in the bed and he's like, "Yes," and he fits in the bed. And then he wakes up in the morning, he's like shitting himself, like when you've done something naughty and your mum and dad are going to shout it and they look at him and he says, please don't be angry, please don't be angry. And his dad looks like he's going to kick off and the mum says, "Don't." And he said, "Listen, baby balloon, we're not angry.
Do you know this?
yeah.
I think I know.
You've let your mum down. You've let me down. But most of all, you've let yourself down."
Oh my god! I can't believe I'm nearly 25. I've never heard that joke.
That's my favourite
That's
joke.
a boss joke,
Yeah.
that. I love it.
Yeah. Do you want me to pick a dad joke out?
I don't think you need to. Oh my
Have that
god.
one.
That was a good
You
job.
you got there in the end with that, didn't
Yeah, it
you?
always cracks me up though when I'm telling it, so I ruin it a little bit.
That
That was
is-
the funniest part.
That was the best one.
That was the
You just let a little bit out. Oh yeah. That's the best dad joke we've had so far.
Yeah.
Can you call that a dad joke?
Yeah,
It is a dad
probably
joke.
is a
Do you know
dad
what?
joke.
We're
Yeah.
making a dad joke.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Let's make a mum joke.
Yeah, mum jokes.
Just to remind everyone, I do teach yoga and I do invest in feminine healing and meditation.
Yeah. But having fun.
Having fun is the best thing. Do you know what? When you asked before about getting through lockdown, I think joy and happiness and laughter.
Yeah.
It is the biggest medicine, isn't it?
Do you know what I mean?
Medicine beyond, I think, any other spiritual practice I've ever found. Like that is just feel
laughing.
boss, yeah.
We've said this before. Like my family when we were younger, like went through a bit of trauma, and like the only way we got through it was just pissing ourselves laughing, winding each other up and that. Yeah. And so that's my kind of go-to thing. Is just it doesn't matter, just have a laugh.
But doing what you're doing, it's like it's a positive thing to do, and like the energy you get off it as well, it gives off that fun vibe. Like you don't have to go to a yoga class and be like, see you later, and then walk out with your head down. Do you know what I mean? It's very connected, isn't it? And like it's very
goes down like a lead balloon.
Goes down like a baby balloon.
Pardon the pun.
I think I'm funny, so sometimes I tell a joke in the yoga class, and it's just like everyone's like, "What's she on about there?"
No, they're in the mood.
I tell jokes, and people go.
He is the boy who cried wolf. He'll go, get on this. The other day, right, some woman outside the shop, and then you're thinking like,
where's this going to be a punchline?
When's the punchline coming? You do it all the time to him, don't you? You're just thinking, when are you gonna? And he's like, no, this really happened. And you're like, oh, did it? Sorry, I've just got anxiety from all your stories. They're always a joke. So anything you want to finish up on? Anything you want to plug?
Anything I want to plug? Just promote everything on my Instagram.
Follow your Instagram, which is
Rebecca___Stewart. I have to have all them underscores to get me in, and I've got a subscription-based website. It teaches you all about the stuff with the cycles and things like that. I'm doing monthly courses now around the womb yoga, and I'm just available for normal yoga, but it's best to just direct message me really if anybody, or if you want any more jokes. I've got another really good one.
Have you got another good one?
I've got another good one, I'll save that, I also write poems.
Don't want to give
sometimes.
too much away.
No, yeah.
Do you write poems?
Sometimes, yeah.
Could you give us a poem to end us on a poem?
Oh, I've got one on my Instagram, but I don't know if I've got it written down.
I'll put you on the spot there. I'm sorry, you don't have to if you don't want to, but it's a nice way to end.
It's a fantastic way to end.
I wish I had that one because it's a bit political.
Do you know, my granddad used to work away on the ships, and he used to send letters back and write poems, but like funny poems.
Yeah.
But like, for example, one of the lines he done on his
with like
one of the recent cars, it was like, he makes it quite funny. He was like, he's been married to me now for like 62 years. It was one of the 60th anniversary. I was like, we've been married 60 years and I've watched your chair turn into a throne, and who would have thought at 90 I'd have a mobile phone.
Sick, man. Yeah. Boss.
I've got, it's long though, you know. It's a bit like, no, I don't know. What do you reckon?
It's your call. If you want to read it out, read it out.
It's a bit controversial.
It's your call.
All right, I'll read it. Mate, so many levels, haven't I? So many faces.
It's Becky, Rebecca. What, if you don't want to read out, is it out there now?
It's on it. I posted it already on Instagram, yeah.
Give us your best narrator voice. 'Twas the
Narrator
night before
voice.
Christmas. And all through the house.
It's about Corona though, a little bit. All right, I'll just read it.
You don't have to put it in.
Well,
just bear that in mind.
Let's see what you think, if it matches your vibe.
Our agenda.
Yeah. When will we acknowledge that love is how we feed? Love, bonding and connection are all basic human needs. Acknowledge that maybe the narrative you're being sold isn't true. Maybe they're telling you stories with the intention to scare you. It's all just speculation, and I'm open to ideas, but this game they're playing, family, is perpetuating fear. The processes in place are detrimental to your health, and I'd speculate the first concern is the 1%'s wealth. It might be a conspiracy, and maybe I am wrong, but if I'm going to die, I'd rather die leave in this world having held my family in my arms. It's been predicted for years, this whole pandemic and virus. It was a conspiracy then, and now it's a worldwide crisis. Who knows the intention? Maybe I've got it wrong. Maybe the earth created this to stop us breathing and attack our lungs. Maybe she wants us to feel exactly as she feels. Maybe it's a divine message from the trees. I changed that line, but I've got it written down wrong there. Maybe it's a blessing, a time to reflect, a time to really think about what we want to manifest. I suspect, to be honest, all things to be true. And how we respond depends upon how it personally affects you. We're selfish in that way. It will only make you speak up when it affects your pay. Never has the statement your health is your wealth rang so true. Monetary wealth in this country is not for the many, only for the few. But our minds and our bodies, they belong to us. And I don't know how many times I have to keep saying this, but all we have is love. All we have is love. I'm open to all possibilities except the ones that cause divide. Separated, we are weak. United, we rise. Divide and conquer has always been the plan. How long will you continue to listen to the man? It's north v south. It's black v white. It's woman versus man. All they want is a fight. I'm torn between activism and surrendering to what is. Let go and just release, but what good that ever did. We were all fuck the system until the system fucked us. If I'm honest, I'm just pissed off. They've made it illegal to give hugs.
Oh,
What a line.
that was great.
That was a belter. Well done. Boss that.
I'm sweating.
That's a few performances we've had tonight there. Comedy, poetry.
Yeah.
It's like, what's that fella called who does the poetry, the slam poetry? You'll know his name.
Timber?
No,
he does what does he do, Tim? He's funny.
And he's been doing them over COVID, lad. John Cooper Clarke.
Oh,
You know
yeah.
John Cooper Clarke?
Oh, he's amazing.
He's boss him. Just like slam poetry. It's like, it's all political.
He's
but
doing
like,
Lost Star,
yeah.
I think. And what was it like? It's funny what the top says. We'll have to get it up, but where's
yeah.
my phone?
But what a note to finish on.
I
That
know,
was
yeah.
a belter.
Yeah.
Beck,
It was a
thank
great
you very
poem.
much
No,
for your
thank you
time
very much for your
Thank
time.
you. Thanks. I've had so much
What we
fun.
learned today that women in the society are amazing. Do you know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
it's good to see. Like it's very empowering. Like seeing what you're doing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
imagine
like,
having me for dinner.
There'll be someone in a few years like, you know what, Avon? Beck off that podcast. So
Rebecca, sorry.
yeah. She brings so much.
No,
Right,
but
well,
it
it's been great for us because we've had so many diverse conversations and each episode just
gets
keeps
better
getting
and better and
better.
Yeah. Thank you so much. for
Never had a
asking me.
conversation about menstruation before.
Yeah.
I made up that he's about it.
Yeah.
I've learned a lot now.
Boss. Well
And
done.
that's that.
That's a wrap.
Thank you.
Boss.